Handwashing for Life has created this standalone workshop to help operators assess the risk of their hand washing situation as it is today. It's designed as a collaboration amongst three very important disciplines, that of quality assurance, food safety, second operations, and third risk management. The tools are designed to pull together to come out with a common view. It starts with you'll find all these materials are on the website to assist. It starts with an invitation to put together that team. Attached to that is an initial view of what risk is to your particular company. And then we move on from there. And the first exercise is this, which we call the hurdles. From the Handwashing for Life Institute, 16 years of research, we find that these 5 hurdles capture almost every single missed hand wash one way or the other. It starts with, number 1, corporate complacency. Number 2, operations priority. The third is the whole facility and equipment. Are things there ready to go? The workers' commitment and turnover is an issue for some. Scorekeeping, nobody has any numbers. So when we did this with a large group, rather than take you through individually one by one, I'll just give you a little indication of how these things ranked. When we took this to a group, these were food safety people, and they basically, the red dot is for the most important one, and which one is the most important one. Their vote was right here, that it's a question of operations priorities. The second one, what's the second most? They felt that there's a certain level of complacency amongst the corporation because they don't really have an understanding of what we're doing. And thirdly, the third vote went to here. When we first did this, we thought everybody was going to be complaining about the workers or complaining about the facility equipment that doesn't allow them. But this is the view. The first thing, operations priorities. Operations has to really be behind whatever we do. The hand washing, if it's based on risk, they cooperate. If we don't have the numbers, it's difficult because it competes with efficiency. So the corporate complacency, they don't have any information, it's not talked about, it's reasonable that would happen. So once we're done with that, what we do is take that information, and now we ask you to put a stamp on where would you like to be relative to risk. Usually people are choosing, here what we have is the high risk to low risk, and you know it's never going to be 0, but what's reasonable? So you choose an area in here of where you think you'd like to be, and then you put another dot here where you think you are. Now you've got a gap. You're not too sure what's in between there, but you've got something to start thinking about what we have to do to get to where we want to go. Then the next step is time to solve the problem. So we find that the best way to solve the hand washing issue is to start with an assessment of the risk. And once you do that, and then all the information that you have is geared against saving the business, saving people's jobs, saving your customers. So it's all against the risk. And then secondly, set some standards. We really need standards in order to do effective training, to be able to encourage and motivate people. We need standards. The optimize is setting the conditions for success. We're asking those workers to wash their hands a lot. How far away are the sinks? Is everything reliable, dependable? So those are things we're going to be looking at there. The next step is train. Usually when people see their hand washing is low, they want to immediately jump to the training and monitoring. But we'll show you in a little bit what happens there. The training will get you so far, but it won't solve the whole issue. And finally, the step of monitoring. It's a bit of a cliche to say what gets measured gets done, but in this case it's totally true. We have experience in surface cleaning and in the hand washing as well, that if you start monitoring, things start to happen. So over here, what we're doing here is a similar exercise where we're now going to drill down. We had these 5 steps. You'll notice that the pie is cut in the same way here. And so we're going to drill down on each one of these things and assess how we're doing as a company. When it comes to assessing the risk, do we talk about the risk? Is it a regular feature in what we do? Does it show up in certain kind of meetings? Is it part of an annual plan? Is there a base for continuous improvement? So all of these things, so we then ask each discipline to come up and agree, where do you think we are on this chart? Well, we hardly ever talk about it. We talk a lot about risk, but not specifically about hand washing. So where do you think this should go? Well, how about right there? So then, yes, it's true. This is this is totally an approximation. What we're gearing toward is providing you with a number that's going to be the equivalent of your FICO score. If you've made the proper kinds of investments in hand hygiene, you're going to have a good score, and it's going to be a safer place. So we work around this the same way. The second person might say, well, I think we're worse off than that. The third one might say, oh, I don't think it's that bad. And so then they will work it out and come up with a number. So we'll do that around each chart. Then that chart itself starts looking like this, and we enter those numbers for each of the 5 segments. So we add them up, divide by 5, and you're going to have your Handwashing Risk Credit Score. So now with that, you'd say, well, why are we going to bother doing all this? Well, I'd like you to take a look at the final stroke here, and that is what happens when you do this. This is a likely scenario. This is an actual case that we did, but we found that the hand washing was lower than they wanted. It's approaching a half a hand wash per employee hour. So what we look at when we look at this, we see that that number was agreed to be very low. We did some training. They had very good trainers available, drove it up, and now this training ceiling is reached, and training would only go this far. So these down here, these are months. So it got to this, between the second and third month, it started flattening out, and then here just over 6, something happened. What happened? What happened was we moved the reporting in each of the 4 stores that were involved in this study. We put the information from all of them together, and nobody wanted to be the bottom. We had accidentally put an incentive in here, and that incentive was, we're going to not be the worst one, and they start seeing the connection between their performance and perhaps their future raises. So this is why it's important to go through these steps and decide the action. And now together as a team, you can feel and see what you need to do to take the corrective actions and make your operations a safer place for your customers and for your business. Thank you.